I am announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action with 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods.
Tariffs is the new war. Under the neoliberals, you had to be scared of drones bombing a wedding with innocent people. Now, under MAGA populism, you might get tariffed into the middle of next week. Let's look at how tariffs are a significant portion and part of Trump's new administration.
Breaking news, Mexico's president now says President Trump's tariffs are paused for a month. President Trump confirmed the pause, saying Mexico will reinforce the border with 10,000 National Guard troops immediately as part of the negotiations. Let's go to ABC's Elizabeth Schulze on Wall Street, Matt Rivers in Mexico City, and Karen Travers at the White House. Matt, how significant is this deal, and what else came out of this conversation?
Well, this was the off-ramp that I think a lot of people had been hoping for. This is why this call was scheduled before this happened, and I think both sides will claim this as a win. The tariffs now being suspended for 1 month. President Sheinbaum coming out saying that President Trump agreed with her her suggestion that she would send 10,000 additional National Guard troops to the northern border. The big reason why the Trump administration says that they want these tariffs in place is essentially leverage to force Mexico to do more to stop the flow, the very large flow of fentanyl from here in Mexico to the United States, as well as migration, even though the numbers of migrants that we've been seeing go to the U.S. much lower than we've seen before. So President Sheinbaum essentially saying, okay, we'll reinforce the border with 10,000 troops. If all of this sounds familiar, it's because it's exactly what happened the last time President Trump threatened tariffs against Mexico. He did so against President López Obrador back in 2019. López Obrador responded by sending troops to the northern border. So it remains to be seen what difference this will actually make at the border, but this is clearly something that both sides will point to as a win. We kick the can down the road again in a month, and we'll have this conversation here on ABC News Live in 1 month from today.
I see tariffs are being used as the primary bulwark and lever against any issue, for example, border control, migration. Here's JD Vance on the subject. For 3 days, a lot of the far left has actively rooted against America and argued we get nothing out of Trump's demands that Mexico secure its country. Well, how do you like them apples? Now, what I really like there is, have you ever seen Louis C.K. doing stand-up about that bit of Good Will Hunting? It's absolutely amazing.
Do you like apples?
Yeah.
Well, I got a number. How do you like them apples?
Who would say yes to do you like apples coming from a clear antagonist who's setting him up, gathered his friends? Do you like... wait, guys, watch this. Do you like apples?
He's using that in conjunction with this post from Trump. I just spoke with President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico. It was a very friendly conversation wherein she agreed immediately to supply 10,000 Mexican soldiers on the border, separating Mexico and the United States. These soldiers were specifically designated to stop the flow of fentanyl and illegal migrants into our country. We further agreed to immediately pause the anticipated tariffs for 1 month, during which we will have negotiations headed by Secretary of State of Marco Rubio and Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent and Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick and high-level representatives of Mexico. I look forward to participating in those negotiations with President Sheinbaum, as we attempt to achieve a deal between our two countries. I understand the new diplomacy will bear the Trump hallmarks. There will be a public dimension, posting on Truth Social. Also, what he's going to be doing is kind of strong-manning his ways through situation using tariffs rather than the threat of military action, which I suppose ain't the worst thing in the world. Fentanyl and migration's a massive issue, both in terms of its actual impact and capacity, its media impact as well. So, in a way, this is a kind of movement that would certainly excite, I would imagine, the Trump base. Claiming that it's a crisis of democracy when it's plainly mandated is disingenuous. What you could claim is it's a transgression against the presumption that our primary and absolute duty between one another is to love one another. That's the claim you'd have to make, I think. That's the only way. And then you actually, there's a counter-argument, because you'd say, well, fentanyl's destroying lives. We've got to do anything we can to prevent the flow of fentanyl. That's one of the ostensive arguments, isn't it? Or ostensible arguments. So I don't see how I don't know how they're gonna get it up to make people outraged about that. So either side, border by border, tariffs are being deployed. Towards Mexico, the tariff motif is being used to as a kind of denouement in a long ongoing argument about border control. When it comes to Trudeau and Canada, it seems like there's a lot of baiting going on. But also I've heard like Trump talk about, they don't allow American banks. Let's have a look when it comes to the other border, your northern border, how tariffs are being deployed. Pretty fascinated by this aspect of it also.
Tonight, I am announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action with 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods. This will include immediate tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods as of Tuesday, followed by further tariffs on $125 billion worth of American products in 21 days' time to allow Canadian companies and supply chains to seek to find alternatives. Ce soir, j'annonce la réplique du Canada.
Well, it makes him more annoying being in French. I didn't know that he could do that. He actually had another level of annoyingness. Okay, you think I'm annoying anyway? Well, what about this? Ole, not annoying enough? Get the boot polish. How about this? Now I'm French and black. I'll annoy you, motherfucker. So is this him posturing and grandstanding in response to Trump's northern border tariff stuff? Amazing. I didn't know Trudeau had those depths. Extraordinary. You're being tracked. I'm being tracked. We're sick of being tracked. Your phone is tracking you even when it's off. And the only way to get off the map is a Faraday sleeve. Do you know? Look, whenever I feel like I need sweet freedom, like nighttime, bedtime, or when I'm driving around contemplating the Lord and how to bring down the government, I'm talking about the EU, what I do is I pop the old phone in the Faraday sleeve and know that I am untraceable, untrackable, like a phantom. I'm moving between the raindrops, baby. These are made in America. It's the only Faraday sleeve with a sound blocking wall. What the Faraday sleeve can do is not only protect your ability to relax, for example, at bedtime or quiet time, giving you a break from endless tracking, spying, and radiation. You've got your phone when you want it, and you can throw it into the old ghost sleeve, don't be disgusting, when you don't want it. That's the problem solved. You get your phone when you want it, but none of its tracking and spying when you don't. This Faraday sleeve by Refuge is a prophylactic against spying. And who among us don't need that? I've been tracked, you've been tracked. Try tracking me with the old prophylactic. It's impossible now. Support American-made products. To get 10% off, go to refugeprivacy.com and use the code RUSS. That's the way to do it. Let's have a look at him responding, Trudeau, directly to increasing tariff inquiry.
When did you first learn that President Trump intends to increase tariffs if Canada retaliates, and how has that changed your strategy?
I think Canadians understand that we need to respond to this. We need to respond in a way that is appropriate, that is measured but forceful, that meets the moment.
I don't like hearing him say measured but forceful because it made me sort of contemplate his erotic nature. I'm measured but forceful. Measured. I'm measuring it now. Now I'm oh Jesus. These images are just. I don't want this from you, Trudeau. You lunatic. That light just went out, baby. The light just went out. That's astonishing. So this is their version of gesticulating and grandstanding. Amazing.
We're certainly not looking to escalate, but we will stand up for Canada, for Canadians, for Canadian jobs.
Amazing. That's their version of MAGA. MACA. Make Canada great. It doesn't work, does it, without America? You need a vowel sound in there, Justin. Well, this is Justin Trudeau winding down the clock by grandstanding with braggadocio claims about you tariff me, I will tariff you right back. So while Mexico apparently comply with the provision of 10,000 troops, and while Trudeau attempts to match Trump for testosterone, when really perhaps the only area where that he could compete with him would be haircuts and tanning cream. People talk a lot about orange Donald Trump, but we know Trudeau would take it a little further than that. Take it to the absolute limit. The giddy irony of it all. But let's see if the European Union are safe from tariffs. I think, like I can guess, They will, if you section me, oh yeah, that's it, Thomas Beard, it's Peep Show, innit? I will section you so hard.
They could section you for trying to section me!
If you try to section me, Mark, you'll have crossed the line, and I will section you, so help me.
Look, guys.
Yeah, what about this? Like, here, check this. Trump's asked by reporters if he's going to impose tariffs on the EU. Well, what do you reckon?
Well, you're asking me a question, because I'm sure you didn't hear, am I going to impose tariffs on the European Union? Do you want the truthful answer, or should I give you a political answer? Absolutely.
Amazing. He does it. He does it different, let's face it. So I understand that Trudeau has, in fact, already capitulated. So tariffs are the drones of the populist MAGA moment. What would you rather have? Bizarre wars declared clandestine around the world, or would you rather explicit tariffs imposed for everything from immigration to spats with Canada? It seems it's effective, and it seems likely that there will be more of them. But how can you make moral complaints about either USAID or the tariffs when what you have is simply a president acting on a mandate granted by the electorate? Ultimately, what you have there is more democratic than anything you'd get from the Democrat Party. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments and chat?
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.